ways that you can kind of pivot on blue and as well as red.
Yeah, currently the draft is paused. We will be coming back into that once it's ready yet again, but we already saw a blue side Fanny rush ban actually by RRQ. Yeah, the funny thing about Fanny is like she's still an option, but yeah, she's gone right now in the meta. But if she does come up, it's more on the red side if I'm not mistaken. So it just really goes to show how the priorities change. Now this is a good respect ban by RRQ, taking away the Kimmy for Stormy, who was actually great for SRG OG.
Fun is all that matters.
That's not the only thing, right? Getting rid of the Kimmy is just one part of the puzzle. Red side, we've seen a consistent amount of bans going over to Yi Shin, sometimes even Lancelot, but most of the time it's always that Wanhua, which kind of opens up the utility pool for junglers.
I also like the fact that SRG is focusing on the YSS, taking out some of these assassin jungler picks. Even though we haven't seen RQ use any assassin jungler picks yet, there is still a possibility there. RQ, even though they've had a smaller hero pool, we got to know that there's a lot of possibilities. But I saw your face, Gideon. The Granger ban, is that a direct target onto Innocent?
It's definitely a direct target, but also is it necessary, right? It's not one of those heroes that are like, oh, it's the ultimate scaling hero that we should be worried about. But first picks are already through, and it looks like they've already locked in for themselves the Zhu Xin, who's been heavily contested within the meta so far.
It seems like she's become the go-to mid laner once it's available. Zetian has dipped out. Kimmy is the next best option. So you see how RQ are putting a lot of focus on the center of the map. And you gotta appreciate SRG for these next two draft picks. They picked up the Kalea to sort of match that presence and aggression in the center. And most importantly, they can just have Innocent go off to the side and split push.
Yeah, I think it's solid. I think they want to make sure they lock in something for Innocent quickly because you could see the target bans coming in. And if RQ pick up the Moskov here, SRG wait till maybe second phase, Innocent has nothing left at this point. The Kalea as well, we've seen how well it does. I think it's just a solid upfront pick. They don't need to pick a mage right now because Jushin's already been picked. So if they still want something like the Farza to outrange the Jushin, they can do that as their third.
I'm not going to waste the efforts of our script writers here, but did you know that SRG, 100% win rate on Kalea, 0% win rate on the Moskov? So they're trying to balance it on both sides, but RRQ very smartly of them, the Badang into the Fredrin. They didn't go for the Arlot straight away. They might consider it later down the road, but they're keeping their options huge, which is why this is the genius of Keskute.
Okay, so here's the question. Do they pick up Mage here? Do they go for something like the Farza here? Even though the Badang's on the field, I still like it against the Jushin. I like the range. I like the wings by wings. The problem is with Jungler already picked on the side of RQ, you know some bans are going to be heading in towards SRG in second phase if they don't lock that in.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement that the Farsa should be coming out here now for SRG or their mage, but something that deals damage, not utility mage. You need that raw damage output to help bridge for the Moskov to come in. They went for damage, but not in the mid lane. They picked up the Lancelot.
Okay, I think it's still fine here. Knowing Stormy's hero pool, I want to see whether RQ have done their homework to kind of force him to dig deep, right? Because there's still the possibilities of, hey, as long as we have Kalea, we force our opponents to take a majority of their spells to be Purify over the Flicker. The only exception being the Badang, but he can build, things like Thunderbelt to kind of scale and protect himself later down in the line. I think that SRG have already taken that into consideration. Now it's about finding a winning matchup for Cram for Red 4.
I think you still have heroes such as the CC available. Those heroes like, we've come to agreement for Crab. He needs a hero that can stand in front, spam stickers.
Glue's also a possibility, something that can deal with the Fredrin here, something that can cause a little bit of crowd control to kind of counteract that. Masha ban on the side of SRG.
It's very nice. It's good. It's really good, because how many games have you seen RRQ just be like, hey, we're about to lose, what's going on? Masha shows up, double kill, triple kill.
Okay, good predicted ban there by SRG. And RRQ are now, as you mentioned, Trex, focusing down on the mid lane. They're going to take out the even. I wonder if RRQ's within the line of thinking of, you know what? If they pick up the Farsa, we might just be able to deal with it. Is that safe to go down that route?
I mean, I think there's Farza's like there's so many counters to Farza, but also any good Farza player can always wings by wings away, either picks up the Purify, picks up the Flicker, something of that nature. But I like the E-Band. It's something that could kind of give the Fredrin a little bit of trouble. kind of lock it inside of the box. So I think it's definitely a well-done pick. CC ban on the side of SRG. Gideon.
I'm telling you, R4 is for Cram right now. They're making sure they're getting rid of the awkward picks, right? You're getting rid of the CC, so even if he does have to play Phoveus into glue, it's not the worst, but there's just no reason to do it right now. It's better for him to actually go into the glue at this point of time because RRQ have already locked in their mage, so there's no immediate counter pick to it.
Yeah, I think next in line, we're all in agreement. Glue should be coming in for Cram and SRG later on, which leaves Dyren with maybe just wanting to match that. Farsa is gonna get banned.
Oh.
So Stormy, what's he gonna go into?
I think, okay, let's see. They go for the Phoveus here. Now, I think what he can go for are things like Nana, for an example, any form of strong disengage. There's an argument for Veil as well, but this really depends on how much backline access RQ has in the first place.
I want to see something with range. I was thinking maybe the Novaria, something of that nature, something that doesn't have to get too close and personal. The ZTN is kind of falling off, I feel like, a little bit in terms of meta, so I don't think it's going to pop up here, and it's not something that has a flicker, and with an Assassin as your front line, you need to make sure your mage is going to be safe when this Lancelot goes and leaves the mage behind.
Yeah, I think whoever they end up in the mid lane for SRG does need a good amount of distance and can mess it up. RRQ go for the Claude, and I think that's also them considering the potential Novaria or long-range mage option.
Or Kadita. We could maybe see a Kadita mage here in the mid. Could work. You get the Petrify, you get the stun with this big, heavy front line RQ. Could work as well.
Yeah, no, this is really smart from Kescute's side. I was talking about backline access, right? This really limits down on the type of mid lane heroes that you're going to get access to. Because let's say you go for Kadita. Yes, you have iframes, but as soon as you come out of it, you're going to get jumped on by 2 to 3 people. Now that you don't have to worry about artillery mages, I think at this point, I want to say Nana, but it's so easy for her passive to break in the first like turtle fight, so we'll see. Depending on what mid pick, it really tells us where SRG wants to fight for.
Yeah, and they end up picking the Zetian, a little bit more utility based with all of the dive that they have. Again, Zetian has struggled, but at least it's paired up with a Lancelot in the jungle, so it's not an overload on utility. I think across the board, we're all vibing a little bit more towards RQ's drafts.
Yeah, I'm definitely vibing a little bit more towards RQ's draft. I think a lot of things is going to come down to how this Lancelot gets played, how good it's able to perform in the pit, can they secure first turtle, etc., etc.
Yeah, so it feels like the SRG lineup is a little bit more complicated to pull off, while RRQ just has a very solid foundation. Play around the Badang, Lapu, Juicin, and Fred. Let's go, bring it in Naisu to call game number 1.
Thanks so much to the panel here. Yes, it's me, Naisu, and Brigida to bring you the action. It's our first quarterfinal match of today, day number 2 here, of course, the knockout stage. And it's an epic match we have ahead of us as we jump in the land of Dawn. Will it be RRQ to move on forward with redemption, or will it be SRG OG Esports? Brigida, they've shared their thoughts over on the panel. I gotta say, I gotta lean towards the same sentiments here. I'm thinking RQ's draft. I like it. What do you think?
I have to agree with them as well. There are just too much things that RRQ have already secured even prior to that game in terms of picks and in terms of battle spells, which will make things a lot more easier. And it does feel like Stormy was left with very little options in terms of the mid lane pick. And we put a lot of focus in terms of the mid laners in the current meta. So we'll see how SRG gets to actually pull off this entire idea. Because again, even just in terms of Purify, like Rinz and Toy already have that. And they might have to bank on other ways to force it out of RRQ if they want to make the Kalei a bit more useful.
Yeah, and looking at the emblems here, nothing too crazy. A whole lot of tenacities, of course, for RRQ. They want to be able to go ahead and survive. A lot of brave smites. You know, they're going to rely on. Dyren's taken some damage, but that's kind of expected too with a Phoveus matchup there. He might need some help against Cram later on, but yeah, it's interesting because we've paid a lot of attention to the mid laners, for example, leading into MSC in general, and it's in an interesting position. I mean, even the Zetian alone from Stormy, it's like we haven't seen this hero be maybe as useful as some people thought.
Yeah.
But she still gets picked up quite a bit, especially when you're thinking about the vision that it provides, utility as well. And once these level 4s start to come online, Cram's going to get pulled back.
Whoa, that's 4 members of RRQ actually trying to go for Cram. They force out the flicker though, so there seems to be an intention to somehow shut him down. But Sakai goes in, even using the Phantom Execution towards Rins, but he still does not decide to use the Purify.
Yeah, he doesn't have it. This turtle's up, and this is a battle for space right now. A lot of poking going on here. There's a jump in from Edok, but they just want to fight for it.
Okay, the ultimate's already committed as well. They somehow have a bit of control here, but that's the Dark Wave knocking up 2 members from RRQ. Dairen goes to the back lines though, and it's still Sakai who gets to secure everything. Razor's Wrath doesn't land onto anyone but Toy. He gets first blood. Sakai trades out to Jin, but on the top lane, Yums will be the next to fall.
Whoa, there's a fight everywhere. Sakai's in trouble too, Edok. He'll clean up the kill before going down himself. So at least amongst it all, SRG gets a double for Stormy. They also get the turtle.
I mean, we did say that the idea for SRG is somewhat utility overall, but it's nice to see them play it very aggressively despite that. I mean, even in terms of the ones who positioned themselves first in the turtle, it was just such great timing overall for RRQ, because even Toy was in that fight, so who would have expected that RRQ already had that much damage, that much sources for damage. It just fell into place for them, but either way, you see how SRG is trying to attack this game, is trying to approach this game up against RRQ.
This is kind of what I expected, though. You know, I expected this matchup between these two teams to be pretty hectic in the early game. And we've already got that. And I think really when you look at both lineups, both just teams fighting out, like that's what they want to do. I almost feel like, for the most part, majority of the teams, this is how they like to play these games, especially you take in consideration, this is a best of 5. We've had plenty of best of 3s, you know, so team strategy and the way they play it might differ from game to game. But right now it's mostly objective fighting around that. We heard that from the interviews coming into this too, that, you know, for RRQ, a lot of times it's like, yeah, let's just go ahead and focus on our objectives, secure those early turtles if we can, and that's why we saw them fight for it. But of course, they've got to win that retribution battle when it comes down to it. And so what it's been a lot of is just these kind of skirmishes, these fighting. I mean, even earlier, the fact that Toy went all the way from the gold lane up to that turtle to provide that blazing duet damage was great, because, I mean, with Innocent, he could have just joined the fight. Rins?
Yep. He was the first one to rotate out of his lane, but SRG are actually doing a really great job at holding this river side. Oh, Cram decides to burst or go in first. However, there's the Tsunami Slam already committed. Edok gets taken out. Sutsujin this time secures the turtle out. SLD will land onto Riz, and Innocent will be coming on from behind, but the Phantom Execution will be enough. 2-man knockup coming in from the Tsunami or the Tidal Strike, but Yums, he will not be able to sustain all that, but it might just be all worth it for SRG.
Yeah, I mean, they'll get a couple kills off it. Of course, the turtle went to RRQ, but because of the extended fight and then Innocent joining in, I mean, crazy to see how this played out. We're going to get a look at it again with the instant replay here, brought to us by STC. But I mean, look at this. This was a fight that you think RRQ is going to win. Susujin gets the turtle. But then because of the spear, I mean, this is a very slow-moving Moskov too, because this is very early on in the game. But, you know, they end up having more of that firepower in their favor, especially when you have a landslide to consider in the hands of Skies here. So it's still, I mean, either way, it's an objective trade for both of them now, 1-for-1 in the turtles, but SRG gets themselves a nice lead. A 1K lead at this point isn't anything too crazy that RRQ has to deal with, but it's starting to build up here. I think the main thing when you really break down those fights is fighting around those windows of crowd control that RRQ lineup has, but the same thing over here from SRG OG Esports. Like, they can do the same thing, but it's just playing around, for example, getting out the Tsunami Slams if it's going to be used, or Edok setting things up with the break and fist break combo that we're so used to seeing, especially when the flicker's available.
Because I think even the panelists did point out that RRQ just have so many resources that will be very beneficial for them when it comes to a team fight or a situation where SRG has to group up, especially considering that majority of the heroes of SRG, well, fortunately for their last pick, they did decide to go for the Zetian, so that gives them a little bit more of range. they literally have to coordinate and be together in order for them to maximize their potential, their capabilities. But Edok goes in with a flicker, gets to catch only Crab because Stormy still has the flicker, but the Fury of the Phoenix will be used to counter against RRQ. Yumes from behind trying to hold out some of the other members. Bravest Spider already committed by Dyron as well. There's another fifth break catching 3, but Toy might not get to target anyone with the blazing duet. Sekai this time gets the Turtle Praetor's Wrath, lands onto Yumes. Sutsujin holding everyone down all by himself, but SRG, they might want to go for it. Fortunately, RRQ are able to run away though.
Cram just took so much damage and bought so much time for them in that fight. And then Yumes holding on to the Tsunami Slam for the right moment is what really allowed them to gain control around that last turtle of the game and win that fight. It just didn't seem like RQ was able to go ahead and get the advantage they were looking for. You know, there was a great amount of damage from the Appraiser's Wrath from Sutsujin, but still they weren't able to win it out. Sakai is going to be out just fine in that exchange, but what a good fight for SRG there.
All of the good initiations, you see them come in from RRQ.
Yeah.
But eventually, SRG OG, they're just so consistent in finding ways to bounce back, to counter-engage up against this team of RRQ, up against all those potential fist break, fist crack setups we see that come in. But there's a conceal play coming in from RRQ. They don't fully commit just yet, though.
Yeah, good comms there. You know, they want to go for innocent. Like I said, you know, leading into this, a lot of people are like, man, you know, SRG OG Esports has this kind of tendency to just rely on innocent to kind of lock in, pop off later on. Again, he's the only one right now with a Savage for MSC. And so if you can put some pressure there, try to delay him out a little bit, then that might be one of the game plans for RRQ. But he's protected really well. You can see he just goes down to the bottom lane now. Yumes providing so much information. He might be in trouble.
Oh, beautiful counter with the Tsunami Slam onto Edok. Now he gets immediately taken down before he gets to do anything. He was right close under the turn as well, but Toy, now with that energy eruption, they find a way to deal with Sekai's. That was a bit too dangerous up against 3 members of RRQ.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, Sakai's was like, I got this, and Toy said, no, it's all right. So this is actually probably going to get them the Lord here. There is a trade on the tier 2 turn on the bottom side, but RRQ now going for this. Oh, Spear. Okay, yeah.
Oh, we've seen too much.
We've seen it too much, Brigida. You know, you kind of hold your breath a little bit. We've seen too many Lords, too many turtles taken with the Spear Destruction from a Moskov. But RRQ gets themselves a Lord, which is going to be not too devastating, I feel like, again, but they did whittle down some of the gold that was building up here in comparison to SRG. It might help them get to the tier 2 turrets because you got to see it. They don't have any tier 1s down at all. You know, so they need to go ahead and start opening up the map to utilize this lineup that they have here.
Yeah, because I know for a fact that RRQ might be wanting to consistently push SRG to force them to a fight, but then SRG, the way they're dealing with it right now, was just really banking on the idea that Innocent needs to take his time, but the Lantern Flare stack will catch on to Sekai once again. Fortunately, gets to dash away with the puncture. There's a beautiful knock-up coming in from Yumes as well. They commit the Tsunami Slam onto Sutsujin, but on the other side of the map, Sekai is doing a great job as well, zoning out or actually dealing the damage towards the tankiest members, but he gets traded out too.
Toys coming to the fight. He's trying to set up the Blazing Duet, but he gets hit into the wall. He finally gets it off. He'll take down one, forces the flicker from Stormy. What a fight in the mid lane. Lord finally goes down. So after it all, they get all tier 1 turrets that they need, except the mid one.
So it does seem like SRG, despite the presence of the Lord, really wanted to force that fight, be the ones to set things up this time around, but then that caused them a turret, that caused them a bit of casualties here and there. So fortunately, Innocent was there to actually deal with it, but this is where you see that SRG, sometimes they tend to make these very bold decisions too.
Hey, we love these slow motion. Oh, Edok! That wasn't slow motion. Edok's taken out.
Okay, another Tsunami Slam will be committed onto Sutsujin. It seems like he's always the target. Now he gets caught. Innocent with the double kill once again, but Graham gets traded out. Yumes doesn't get to jump away. And now Sekai's in too deep with Magma Security. Might get the kill on Toy, and he's actually able to get the kill.
Oh my goodness, what a turnaround. And it was the same thing. Innocent comes in with a Spear of Destruction. Dyron might get sandwiched into here. He's trying to get back to the mid lane, but Innocent's just like, I'm taking this turret. They win that fight. And I mean, look at all the bodies right there. And that choke point is not where you want to be. Good close up to it too, because that was a fight that's looking one way and then it quickly turns the other. And I guess that's the way it works when you have a Lancelot and then a Moskov that can work in conjunction with each other here. So you're getting to that point now where a lot of the teams, once they get this, 12-minute plus, Innocent's got most of the items that he needs, he's starting to be a big threat. Not only that, though, but if you throw so much at a Lancelot, trying to catch him, you can buy like these windows of opportunity with a Thorn Rose, with a Phantom Execution. Oh, there it is.
Another surprise engage. Fury of the Phoenix as well committed just to follow up, but the damage coming in from RRQ! It just seems too much. Toy doing a great job at dealing damage. Innocent all alone up against 4, and he won't be able to handle it anymore.
Oh, that was such a good kind of fight back from RRQ. Sakai's still up. He might still try to delay them. It's only Innocent and Cram that are down. So as the 3 are still alive from SRG OG Esports, they can actually delay this and stop them from taking the Lord here.
Oh my goodness.
That's what they're going to do. They might just get a tier 1 in the mid lane for RRQ. They could start this up, but by that time, Innocent could join this fight with a Spear of Destruction. Cram's already back up, so they'll do everything they can to stop this out. And this has been such a pendulum swinging game of back and forth that you can't clearly say RQ's got this Lord. SRG will fight it out too. So now with everybody back up, they're ready to fight for the Lord here.
Yeah, they gotta be cautious. They gotta manage the waves down bottom first. And also be wary of the threat of a potential steal away from the last one. But it bursts down the Lord! No steals whatsoever are gonna happen. There's the Blazing Duet once again coming in, however, and it deals enough damage against SRG. They're trying to chase after them. Lantern Flares coming in from Riz, but will he be able to catch up? Innocent, Humes, and Stormy, they're just able to walk away.
As I said, Brugada, it's a pendulum for game number 1, swinging back and forth. Yeah, the Lord went to SRG, but they lost 2 bodies off of that. So this could be cleared out, but this is also the power of Moskov. Innocent rolls right up top, takes the tier 2 as well, because he knows RQ's got to deal with this. Well, he throws the spear down, but he knows Susujin's there as well. So this is... Oh, and he's actually going to transfer on down.
Whoa. That is a very brave move, and now with the Blazing Duet, Innocent bursted down. Riz gets the final blow as well, but will he be able to keep himself safe? He will. It's a double for Riz on the Jushin.
Hey, I guess they decided let's just go for it. I'm surprised he followed through, but he did have some information that at least Humes was there, but man, both Wind and Nature's coming in clutch. Toy picks up a Malefic Gun now. This is still an even pretty much game across the board. Both teams really close in terms of turrets that they have, but RQ is going to want to start to go ahead and have these better fights. I mean, a lot of the fights are started up from Humes. Anytime he has a flicker, even if he doesn't, he can kind of just jump on in, Tsunami slam someone, and force RQ to fight. And there has been some close calls where it's like, boy.
Okay. Not even the orange buff comes for free.
He should get out.
He should, and find a way to try and get out, but that's 4 members that'll try to pin him down. They definitely do not want to allow him to escape, and that's how many seconds? At least. He will make it in time though, but I feel like those are things you should not be doing anymore if you want to, like, just hold on to whatever lead you had. And I said had because
it's gone.
It's gone.
They had one, but jumps on in.
There's the passive though. But it still doesn't keep Stormy safe. Humes might get bursted down next. Another double from Riz. Literally trying to work on that redemption that we've been talking about. At least Innocent is still there though, so they have ways to clear the waves, but RRQ, they'll just go in and take this turret away from SRG.
Do they still want to fight this? They're going to jump on in the mid lane anyway.
Oh, energy eruption used onto Sakai, but they go after Crab instead. Innocent trying to deal with the other members, but it seems like they do not care about the damage.
This has been a compounding consequence for SRG OG Esports. It started earlier on with that Spear of Destruction, choosing to fight, then Sakai's being in that side of the jungle around the orange buff, and now getting punished here. They lose the base turret. RQ's swung 3.5K in their favor, and the Lord is up. They're feeling confident about this. They'll start it up. SRG's going to get in position here. They will force this again, probably with Yumes, but they're going to get caught here.
They find a target, and it's gonna be Yumes. Sakai's trying to find a kill onto Rin's. Fury of the Phoenix will not land though. Jet Energy Eruption will be used towards Sakai's. Edok is there as well to put some pressure, but that does not completely stop Sakai's from trying to contest. There's Edok too, once again, trying to block the way though. But will Sakai's find another round? Oh, the Fist Crab actually lands onto him. Jet changes target. A break.
What the setup right there, but Innocent's pushing the base anyway. He's going for Rins. He's gonna be stopped. It's a 1v1. He throws the Spear of Destruction and he'll get Rins anyway. Pops the Wind of Nature, going against Edok. He has the damage. He picks up 2.
That was a close call. Wind of Nature SOD. All means just to escape, even the Purify. But then he gets taken down now, more than ever, when he's needed the most by his team.
They can buy themselves 25 seconds here. Innocent will be back up for this. SRG has to delay this Lord push as much as possible. It was such a good juggle from RQ. They dealt with Sakai's so much, zoning him out from the Lord. Innocent pushes, he gives the call. He's up in 10, and they'll have to stall this out. Some of the base turrets might fall here, depending on how RQ plays this out. But right now, SRG is okay. They'll deal with the Lord, they'll deal with some of the pressure, but they bought themselves enough time to stay in the game.
The pendulum is becoming too real for this game, and mind you, we're already at how many kills? Like, if you do the math, 26 plus 19, that's like...
quick maths.
That's, I don't wanna...
35. Wait, no.
No. Wait, see, this is how it affects our brain.
That's 45.
That's how unlimited clashes actually affect our brain. BMI out from Toy. Okay, just to escape the Phantom Execution, so you have to respect the wave clear and the damage coming in from SRG.
Is your brain okay, Brina?
I hope so.
I hope everybody watching this one, their brain is okay, because if it's 5 games of this... That's going to be intense. Conceal's going to be used. Edok will lead in charge here. Will get stopped with the Dark Wave in his tracks. So right now, this composition is paying dividends here for SRG OG Esports. Like, they're able to stay in this. They're able to go ahead and clear things out relatively well and quickly. And it's actually pretty difficult for RQ to start up a fight. If they have to do anything, it's on Edok. He has to use that conceal like we just saw him, or, you know, flicker on in and set things up. But that's why the majority of this game has all been a decision from SRG. They've been the ones starting the fights. They've been the ones choosing that that route. And clearly that can work for them. But I feel like even for RQ, you got to start to transition to be like, all right, how do we make sure we don't get just like pushed off the map from Innocent? Because with that base turret down now, that's something they can play into. Good thing the Lord is on that side and not the opposite side, so that alleviates some of the pressure. Oh, Edok!
But even in just the orange buff, they decide to pick a fight. Edok gets bursted down, however, Immortality already popped, and Sakai's will be able to find the kill on the dead! But Toy might just save the game for RRQ. Deals enough damage with Blazing Do It once again. There's the stun coming in from Dyren. They go for Crab this time around, but Innocent is just chasing after every single member of RRQ, but still, they find a way. Another Bravest Fighter in!
And they go in, they get the slam on down as well. Innocent, Immortality's still going to be popped. He finally goes down from Rids, and RQ pushes and pulls their way to win this team fight. They'll get the wipeout.
Edok trusted his ability to sustain and get a shield. And now it's RRQ who prevails in game number 1.
The whole story here was the back and forth. A pendulum for both teams. And this time around, RQ gets game number 1. What a phenomenal match 1 in this best of 5. Again, if we get 5 games of this, I think we'll all go home happy. But this is a close one, Brigida. I mean, both teams look so good there.
That was too close. I mean, you would think that RRQ would be the ones who are in a little more riskier position since they forced